Now to the latest turmoil at Twitter. About a third of the company's remaining staff has reportedly resigned after CEO Elon Musk gave them an ultimatum yesterday. Twitter had 7,500 full-time employees worldwide at the end of last month. About half of them were laid off 2 weeks ago, leaving about 3,700 workers. The New York Times reports 1,200 of them resigned today, leaving about 1,500 employees on the payroll. That does not include the more than 5,000 contract workers who were laid off. For more now on the mess unfolding at Twitter, we are joined by CNET Editor-At-Large Ian Scher. Ian, great to have you on here. If you go on Twitter, you're probably seeing on your timeline, a lot of users think we're kind of watching Twitter slowly implode right before our eyes. Do you think we are nearing the end, or does Twitter survive this whole tumultuous transition?
You know, the analogy that I heard recently really caught me, which was kind of a dying mall, right? Where people are going, but, stores are starting to disappear. And then there's like weeds growing in the parking lot. And eventually people stop going. And it's not clear whether or not Twitter is going to follow that model. I don't think it's going to disappear in the next week, right? I think it's going to take a while, if for no other reason than it is still the lifeblood of a lot of our culture, right? The sports world, the political world. So many people rely on Twitter as a place to congregate and communicate, and it is, whether you want it to be or not, one of the most influential websites in the world. So I think it's going to be interesting to see whether or not Elon Musk is able to figure this out, or whether or not this does end up eventually becoming the moment where it started to go sour.
All right, let's talk about how the platform continues to function just on a sort of a practical level. Today, Elon Musk reportedly urged software engineers at the company to report to the headquarters for this all-hands meeting. Former Twitter employees are saying they believe the site is going to struggle to perform well with just a small number of staff maintaining it. Do you believe Twitter has enough people on hand to properly run the platform?
I mean, I don't even think I'm an expert enough in how this stuff works to know that. Partially also to point out, we don't know who's left on staff. And by the way, Twitter itself doesn't appear to know who's left on staff. So it's hard to tell. I do know there's a lot of concern that security experts have walked out the door. That could lead to all sorts of issues around that. There's also just basic infrastructure, right? This website is like anything. It's any machine, right? They break down over time. The software stops working. Computers need to be changed. And so in one analogy, you'll have a lot of analogies tonight, apparently, is, Wile E. Coyote, right? Going off of the cliff and keeps running. But the minute he realizes that he's not anymore on solid ground anymore, he falls. Yeah. So that's another one that's come up on Twitter about what could potentially happen, is that it'll go along for a while and then it'll fall apart, but nobody really knows.
Let's talk for a moment about the notion of content moderation here. We just saw on the screen there a tweet tonight from Elon Musk. He's been talking about bringing back some high-profile Twitter accounts, reinstating those accounts, none more high-profile, of course, than former President Trump. And he had actually a poll for Twitter users tonight asking if the former president, who was booted off for inciting violence on January 6th, asking if he should be reinstated here. What do we know about what this decision-making process looks like for reinstating accounts like Trump's? And is this sort of a foregone conclusion that Trump comes back to Twitter?
Well, I had always thought it was a foregone conclusion myself, and we'd written about that on CNET. But I think reality is that, Elon Musk, when he came in and he started having a lot of pushback from advertisers when he was promising to reinstate all of these incredibly harassing or people who had just caused so much trouble on the platform, and advertisers said, no way, you cannot have our stuff next to that. He said, okay, I'm going to set up a moderation council. I'll have a bunch of people be able to vote on it. They'll come together and they'll tell me whether or not I should have these accounts reinstated. And then suddenly today, he's like, actually, I'm just going to reinstate a bunch of them. And now let's vote on Donald Trump. So it's hard to tell what the process is because it keeps changing. But that's kind of the mercurial nature of Elon Musk himself.
Do you think that that's the way we're going to see this transition continue to unfold? We've seen a lot of Elon Musk makes a decision, maybe a day or two later, he pulls back on that decision and reverses course. Do you think that we see that continues to be the pattern we see?
I mean, Elon Musk said it himself. He tweeted out, Twitter's going to do a lot of dumb stuff in the next future, right? And they say they're going to keep the smart things that work and toss the things that don't. But this is a lot to go through. And when you consider how important this platform is, again, one of the most influential places on the planet, even though only about 300 billion people use it, you have to remember that this is going to be a really weird experiment, and I don't know how it's going to play out.
Yeah, a lot of people worried that it will disappear, but certainly hoping it survives this transitionary period here. CNET Editor-At-Large, Ian Scher, always appreciate the time. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
All right.